All right, so how can we improve the results of our automated emails to quickly resolve problems and generate more revenue? Well, one of the ways is doing a regular audit, right? Doesn't sound too sexy, but it's really important. The problem is, right, we don't want to spend a ton of time and effort on this, right? We can really go down the rabbit hole, and there's tons of tools and different techniques and things we could use. But how about if we did something that maybe took us 5 minutes and identified the majority of any big issues and let us identify some stuff for testing, right? Sounds good. Definitely something good that you can do. If you have a team, this is something you could pass off and probably have them do, I would say, once a month, fit it in, maybe do a couple a month and just kind of you go through. And this is an iterative process where every month or quarter, whatever it may be for you, you come through, do it, make sure there's no big issues and identify some tests, the things that you could improve over time. This will definitely help, and it will really only take a few minutes. So as you know, email flows are great, right? I'm showing this in Klaviyo. This is just automated emails if you're not familiar with the word flow. Again, this is stuff that's set up and triggered by an automated action like placing an order in this example, and then over time, we're sending out some emails. And these work for you 24/7, right? That's the great part about these flows. This isn't something that somebody has to hit send on. It just goes. But if you have a problem and you don't notice, that problem's also working 24/7. So definitely want to make sure that you stay on top of this. So let's just kind of go through it. So opening up and getting into the flow, obviously we're already here. The big thing too is to just check that the trigger is right. Okay. Over time, you learn what this is. This isn't meant to be, hey, here's a breakdown of everything about every email program out there. But make sure that things are operating correctly. Is this what it's supposed to be? All right. And I would highly recommend creating a process sheet for this. Could just be a Google Doc and like, hey, here's the things we're going to look for. Trigger should be this. Is it? Right. Sometimes when these get set up, it could be wrong. Maybe the wrong filters in place. Again, just quick stuff that we can check and make sure that it's right. Okay, over here, I have analytics on. Of course, whatever tool you're using, you want to make sure that you can see things like open rate, click rate, revenue, whatever it is you show. Also over here, this is nice to see is like how many it's been delivered to in the time period we're looking at, et cetera, et cetera. So something else that I will say is real quick, just do a sanity check. When you do this or whoever does it, it's something you're going to be doing regularly. So we want to have a process for this, but you'll also just kind of internalize, hey, is this right? Is this wrong? I've looked at this over the last year. Can I just do a big picture look at this and say, okay, it's looking pretty good. I see, 60 people, 20, this, that. That's the type of stuff where you'll get a feel for it. And I feel combining both the quantitative part of this, right, where we look at this and it should be this. We look at that and it's got to be that. With the qualitative, hey, does everything here feel right to me? Does my gut tell me that things are right? Can be really powerful. So don't ignore that, but you definitely want to have both. Okay, so the things we want to look at are open rate, click rate, and placing order. Generally, I look at the raw revenue, right? I just want to see, hey, how much revenue is this generating and kind of work backwards from there. But to speak to the open rate and click rate, I really like Rob Allen's metric of looking for 33 and 3. And this means is the open rate above 33% or at least 33%, and is the click rate 3% or better. Okay. And if you have low open rates, then split test your subject lines, right? You should be split testing them. And here you can hopefully see this. Got two little cards. We are split testing the subject lines on all of these emails. And if you see, that's something you can do anyways, but if you're not already doing it and you have low open rates, definitely want to test those subject lines. And then the click-through rate, right? If you have a low click rate, probably want to work on your call to action. Maybe see, are you using an in-text call to action along with maybe a button? Do you want to split test that? Perhaps it's the offer as well. Take a look at what you're doing. You're going to need to work there, but generally the call to action is the place to start with that. Okay, and then revenue. Are these emails generating as much or more than the other? Go through and look. Why, is there one that's generating no revenue? Is it, because it's got low open rates? So maybe you just need to fix that first. Is it the click rate? Things like that. Start, open rate, click rate, revenue, and then look through here. So when I go through this, I see $300, $40, $100, $600. I'd be like, well, that's weird. Why is this one so far out? Well, it turns out we're splitting out a part of the audience, and this has only gone to 27 people, so it makes sense. It should be lower, right? It would be a little odd if it was the highest. That'd be great, but it would be kind of odd. So we see, okay, well, that at least makes sense that it's a little bit lower, and people who hadn't taken this action probably not as inclined to take action. But then going down here, say, oh, we could get 20% off by writing to us. And then down here, seems like, well, that's got a really good open rate, and click rate needs some help. Probably need to work on that. But it's still generating some revenue. And then this seems to be doing really well. What could we learn from that? Maybe go in and look at the email that's going well. Is there something in there we can take and use without cannibalizing that email? Cool. So those are the main steps. Really, this is something you can truly do in 5 minutes. Maybe write it down. Like I said, have a quick process, do the gut check, come through here. And now by going through like that, we've already identified some tests we could run, right? We said, oh, okay, over here, might want to work on the call to action, but also we want to see what's in here, probably see something that would help us. Come back here and test it in that email. Boom, let that run. Next time we come through, see what's improved. And of course, keep notes while you're doing this. Again, it could be in the Google Doc, whatever your system is, so that you know what you've done, what you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't, etc. If you'd like help with your email marketing for your store, you can get in touch with me, Adam Moody, at oasisoptimization.com.